4. Chapter 4: The Crossroads of Faith and Fame. The anticipation was palpable as Gabriel sat in the studio, listening to the final playback of his new album. The beats pulsed through the speakers, a fusion of his signature EDM style with powerful, uplifting lyrics that spoke of hope, redemption, and God's love. Each track was a testament to the journey Gabriel had been on, a journey from darkness into light, from fame to faith. But as the last notes faded, Gabriel felt a knot of anxiety tighten in his stomach. He had poured his heart and soul into this project, but he knew the world might not receive it as he hoped. The music industry thrived on trends and image, and a DJ suddenly turning to Christian-themed music was far from typical. Gabriel's fanbase had grown accustomed to his high-energy, party-centric tracks. How would they react to this new direction? Tony, who had been cautiously supportive of Gabriel's decision, entered the studio with a concerned look. "Gabe, I've got to hand it to you. This is some of your best work," he said, his tone sincere but laced with uncertainty. "But are you sure about this? It's a big risk, man. The industry isn't exactly known for embracing, well, religion." Gabriel nodded, aware of the gamble he was taking. "I know it's a risk, Tony. But I'm not doing this for the industry. I'm doing it because it's what I believe in. This is the music I'm meant to make." Tony sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I get it, I really do. But you've got to be prepared for the backlash. Fans might not stick around, and the labels, well, they might not be too thrilled either. This could change everything." Gabriel met Tony's gaze, determination shining in his eyes. "I've already made my choice. This is who I am now, and this is the message I want to share. If that means losing fans or deals, so be it. I have to be true to myself and to God." Tony respected Gabriel's resolve, even if he didn't fully understand it. "All right, Gabe. I'm with you. But let's be smart about this. We'll release the album, but we'll also do some interviews, let people know where you're coming from. Maybe that'll help ease the transition." Gabriel agreed, knowing that the road ahead would be challenging. But he was ready to face whatever came his way. This album wasn't just music, it was his testimony, his way of sharing the transformation that had taken place in his life. When the album titled Reborn was released, it created a buzz in the industry. Fans and critics alike were curious about Gabriel's sudden shift. Some praised the boldness and sincerity of the project, while others were skeptical, questioning whether this was a genuine change or just a publicity stunt. The reaction from Gabriel's fanbase was mixed. Some embraced the new direction, appreciating the depth and positivity of the lyrics. But others were confused, disappointed that their favorite DJ had veered away from the carefree party anthems they had loved. Social media was flooded with comments, debates, and discussions about Gabriel's transformation. Gabriel braced himself for the storm of opinions, knowing that not everyone would understand his journey. But amid the criticism, something unexpected happened. Messages began pouring in from people who had been touched by the album, listeners who found hope and encouragement in the music, who were inspired by Gabriel's story of faith. One message in particular stood out to Gabriel. It was from a young woman named Sarah, who had been struggling with depression and had felt lost in her own life. She wrote about how she had stumbled upon Gabriel's album during a particularly dark moment, and how the music had given her a sense of peace and purpose she hadn't felt in years. "Your music saved me," she wrote. "It reminded me that I'm not alone, that there's hope even in the darkest times. Thank you for sharing your faith and your story. It's changed my life." Gabriel was deeply moved by Sarah's words. This was why he had made the album, not for fame, not for accolades, but to make a difference in people's lives. If his music could bring even one person closer to God, it was worth all the risks and challenges. As the weeks passed, Gabriel continued to navigate the delicate balance between his faith and his career. He faced resistance from some corners of the industry, with a few labels backing out of deals and some promoters hesitant to book him for major events. But Gabriel remained undeterred. He knew that this was the path he was meant to walk, even if it meant forging a new way in an industry that wasn't always welcoming to messages of faith. but there were also moments of triumph. Gabriel's music began to attract a new audience, people who were hungry for something more meaningful, who appreciated the blend of powerful beats with uplifting spiritual themes. He started receiving invitations to perform at Christian music festivals, churches, and events that aligned with his newfound mission. During one such performance at a large Christian youth conference, Gabriel had a powerful experience. The event was unlike any club or festival he had ever played. The crowd was there not just to dance but to worship, to connect with God through music. As Gabriel took the stage, he felt a surge of emotion. This was where he was meant to be, using his talent to glorify God, to bring people together in faith. As the music filled the arena, Gabriel saw the impact it had on the crowd. Hands were raised, voices lifted in praise, and tears flowed as the beats and lyrics resonated deeply with the audience. It was a moment of pure connection, of purpose fulfilled. Gabriel realized that this was just the beginning of his journey, that there was so much more he could do to spread the word of God through his music. After the show, Gabriel spent time talking with some of the attendees, hearing their stories and sharing his own. He was struck by the sense of community, of shared faith and purpose that permeated the event. It was a stark contrast to the often superficial world of mainstream music, and Gabriel felt a renewed sense of commitment to his mission. Back in the studio, Gabriel continued to create music that reflected his faith, collaborating with other Christian artists and exploring new ways to blend EDM with worship. His music evolved, becoming a powerful tool for ministry, reaching people in places and ways traditional sermons couldn't. But Gabriel also faced moments of doubt and struggle. There were times when he felt isolated, caught between two worlds, the glitz and glamour of the music industry and the quiet, humble path of faith. He missed the camaraderie of his old life, the ease of fitting in without having to explain his beliefs or justify his choices. And yet, he knew he couldn't go back. The calling on his life was too strong, the transformation too real. One night, after a particularly challenging day, Gabriel found himself back in the same church he had stumbled into months ago. The quiet sanctuary brought him comfort, and as he sat in the pew, he reflected on the journey he had been on. Gabriel prayed for guidance, for strength to continue on this path even when it was difficult. And as he sat there, he felt a deep sense of peace wash over him, a reassurance that he wasn't alone. God was with him every step of the way, guiding him, using him to reach others in ways he could never have imagined. Leaving the church, Gabriel knew that the road ahead would be filled with both challenges and triumphs. But he was ready. He had found his purpose, and he was determined to use his talents to spread the message of God's love, to make a difference in the world, one beat at a time.